Nathan, given the dissonance on inflation, I know that you and your team have done a lot of work on the supply chain pressures and this gaming out of the severity of a recession. What then would be the appropriate policy path for the Fed?
Well, in our latest update of our supply chain index, which included June data, we did see some easing in supply chain pressures. It wasn't so much about adjustment in the supply side. It's exactly the slowing of goods demand that I was describing. Now, as goods demand slows, some of these supply shocks may attenuate, may weaken some, and take some pressure off the inflation story. But as I said, I don't want to sound overly optimistic, because now there's another key element of it, and it's what's happening to services prices. Even as many consumers are pulling back, other consumers, particularly those in the upper income brackets, are spending on travel, on entertainment, on leisure, doing many of the things that they haven't been able to do or as a result of the pandemic over the last couple of years. And that continues to drive the services prices. And my expectation is services wages higher. So it's a shifting inflation story, I would say.
And where then would you put inflation expectations moving forward then, given this evolving environment, and how entrenched is inflation? And do we now characterize the environment as one of real stagflation, i.e. low growth and elevated inflation?
This inflation process, I described it shifting, but I do think there are some elements of it that are likely to be around for the next year, the next 18 months. Now, kind of putting it all together, I expect that we'll see over the course of a few months, certainly not in the report next week, but over the course of a few months, some gradual retreat in some of these headline measures. And we're starting to see some of the commodity prices come off the boil. And that's going to be helpful. But how quickly that happens versus the slowing of the economy is a big question. And if the economy slows faster than inflation's coming down, could we have a few quarters that feel stagflationary? Unfortunately, I feel that the answer to that is yes. Now, I'm reasonably comfortable, though, that unlike the late 70s and early 80s, that it's unlikely to be a couple of years of stagflationary kind of outcome. But, 3, 4, 5 months of high inflation in the face of sharply slowing economy is a real possibility. We got to strap on our seatbelts and get ready.